I'm Kane, a 30-year-old woman who welcomed my first child, Oliver, just 3 weeks ago. My husband, Isaac, aged 35, and I have been together for 7 years, married for 2, and both work in IT. We live 4 hours away from my family, which is where this troubling saga began. When I announced my pregnancy at 6 months, everything changed. My brother Victor, 35, and his wife Emily, 34, have been trying to conceive for 5 years. Emily suffered 2 miscarriages early on, followed by a devastating loss last December when she miscarried at 7 months. The grief hit them hard. When I shared my pregnancy news, Emily left the room in tears and Victor followed. They didn't return that evening. My mother, Julia, 65, later told me Emily sobbed for hours that night. I sympathized with her pain, but I couldn't hide my pregnancy forever. After that, Emily's behavior grew unsettling. She sent me articles about pregnancy complications and stillbirths, and asked my parents detailed questions about my health and doctor visits. At Christmas, when I visited home, she touched my belly without permission and made comments about being the best caregiver for my child. My mother raised Victor and me after our father passed when I was 15. She's always been protective, especially of Victor, who stayed near home while I moved away for college and work. She adores Emily, treating her like the daughter she never had. Post-Christmas, my mother started questioning my readiness for motherhood. She asked if Isaac and I, with our demanding jobs, were prepared, if our savings were sufficient, or if our apartment was big enough. She contrasted this with Emily's part-time remote work, suggesting it made her better suited to raise a child. In February, when I was 8 months pregnant, my mother called with a chilling proposal. She explained Emily was struggling deeply with her loss, and a grief counselor suggested being around infants might help. She proposed Emily stay with us after Oliver's birth to help with him. I refused outright. Then she revealed her true intent. Emily and Victor had explored adoption but faced high costs and long waits. She suggested that, since I was young with a career ahead, it might be better for Emily and Victor to raise Oliver. They had a house with a yard, Emily could stay home, and they were more financially stable. I hung up stunned. That night, alone in our nursery, I stared at the baby items we'd lovingly prepared, grappling with my mother's suggestion to give my child to my brother's wife. The next day, calls came not just from my mother but from Victor. He said Emily was barely eating or sleeping, had turned their spare room into a nursery, and was buying baby clothes. He believed caring for a baby would save her and argued Oliver would have a better life with them. He criticized our unmarried status, small apartment, and long work hours, implying we couldn't give Oliver the attention he deserved. I countered that Isaac and I planned to marry before the birth, and that many working parents raise happy kids. Victor called me selfish, stressing family obligation. The pressure escalated. My mother called, crying about Emily's deteriorating state. My Aunt Clara, 54, joined in, saying the family was worried about Emily and that I could help. Emily never called directly but commented on my social media. When I posted about our nursery, she noted having the same crib. When I mentioned baby clothes, she said she'd bought newborn and 3-month sizes. At 38 weeks pregnant, I reached my limit. Emily and Victor showed up unannounced at our apartment one Saturday. Isaac was out shopping, so I faced them alone. Emily barged past me to the nursery, rearranging items and talking about preparing their home for Oliver. She'd brought a car seat to install for when they took him home. I demanded they leave. Emily collapsed, begging on her knees to have my baby, claiming her miscarriage meant she was destined to raise mine. She promised I could visit and stay involved. Victor tried calming her, but she screamed that I was too young and selfish to be a good mother, insisting I didn't want Oliver as much as she did. I called the police. By the time they arrived, Isaac was back and had calmed Emily. The officers took statements but called it a family matter, suggesting a restraining order if we felt unsafe. The next day, Isaac and I married at the courthouse to secure our parental rights. Oliver was born 2 weeks later, and we kept my family in the dark about the labor. My mother learned of his birth through a friend who saw Isaac's social media post. She called, crying about missing her grandson's arrival. Victor was angry we hadn't invited them, but Emily's response terrified me most. Using Victor's phone, she spoke as if Oliver was hers, describing his room and her time off work to care for him. I realized she genuinely believed he would live with her. We cut contact, blocked their numbers, and set our social media to private. My mother sent letters and packages, which we returned unopened. A cousin revealed Emily was telling their church we were struggling and planning to let her adopt Oliver. She collected donations for baby supplies and showed off a nursery. My mother told relatives we were swayed by Isaac's family, but would soon come around. She believed Emily just needed time with Oliver to heal. I never imagined my mother would support someone claiming my child. I thought family meant protection, not plotting to take what matters most. Isaac has been my rock, and his parents, though far away, offered support, shocked by my family's actions. We're considering relocating before Oliver grows older to avoid living in fear of my brother and Emily. I don't want Oliver thinking he belongs to anyone else. I question if I'm too harsh. Emily's trauma is real, and grief can push people to extremes. But wanting to raise my child crosses into something darker. Isaac suggests hiring a lawyer to document everything for future protection. Part of me hopes Emily's recovery will resolve this, but another part knows this may be our reality now. I just want to raise Oliver in peace, not constantly watching my back. Losing my family to become a mother was never what I expected. Update 1: Oliver is now 11 weeks old and thriving. Isaac and I are managing the newborn phase, and I plan to return to work soon. A month ago, I contacted Pastor Harris, 50, who's known our family for years and officiated Victor and Emily's wedding. I hoped he could help Emily see her behavior was unhealthy. During our call, he listened patiently. He noted Emily's concerning actions during her grief counseling, mentioning a baby joining their family soon but dodging details when pressed. He promised to meet with Victor and Emily and offered to mediate if we were open to it. I gave him 2 weeks to try. The first week was quiet, no calls, visits, or packages. We hoped professional intervention was working. Then Pastor Harris called with alarming news. He'd met Victor and Emily 3 times. Initially, Victor seemed to grasp their plan was unrealistic, admitting Emily's grief clouded their judgment. But Emily claimed I'd asked them to raise Oliver, believing our no-contact stance was temporary stress. She had detailed plans for Oliver's milestones, speaking as if he lived with them. In the second meeting, she accused Pastor Harris of misinterpreting God's plan, insisting her loss meant she was meant to raise Oliver. By the third, Victor backtracked, defending Emily's hope for a family and calling me cruel for keeping Oliver from her. Pastor Harris grew alarmed when Emily was banned from the church nursery after fixating on a baby as practice for Oliver, upsetting the child's parents. He ended their counseling, urging professional help, and warned us her grasp on reality was slipping. After this, we installed security cameras, changed locks, and altered our routines. Then our neighbor, Mrs. Carter, 45, reported a woman matching Emily's description, inquiring about our schedules, claiming to be my sister planning a surprise. Mrs. Carter, sensing something off, shared nothing. My cousin Ava, 24, revealed Emily was posting in parenting forums, asking about transitioning babies to new caregivers and adoption timelines, clearly planning for Oliver. Ava also said my mother was telling relatives I had postpartum depression, portraying herself as a caring grandmother while ignoring Emily's obsession. We sent a certified letter to my mother, Victor, and Emily, stating Oliver stays with us and warning of legal action for interference. Victor called, furious, accusing us of cruelty and claiming Emily was recovering until our letter set her back. He insisted she just needed time, but I saw he shared her delusion. We began looking for apartments elsewhere, consulted a lawyer about protective orders, and documented everything for potential court use. I want to enjoy Oliver's early months, not fear for his safety. Update 2: Oliver is 7 months old, crawling and joyful. We've settled into parenting, and I've been back at work for 3 months. Last week, Ava, a social worker, called with shocking news. She was assigned a case involving a couple, Victor and Emily, reported for trying to buy a baby illegally. A neighbor overheard Emily discussing a shady private adoption. Ava recused herself, but learned Victor and Emily had paid thousands to a scammer posing as an adoption facilitator. Their nursery was tailored for Oliver, with his photos from Isaac's social media and clothes in his sizes. Emily's timeline detailed when she expected us to give up Oliver. Victor had researched grandparents' rights and ways to challenge our custody. The county closed the case, deeming them scam victims, but recommended Emily's mental health evaluation. Ava warned us for our safety, as no legal restrictions prevented their contact with children. We met our lawyer, who advised a protective order and thorough documentation. On Wednesday, we secured an order barring Victor, Emily, and my mother from approaching us or communicating. But on Friday, my mother violated it, confronting Isaac at his workplace, begging to see Oliver and offering to pay our expenses for supervised visits. When Isaac refused, she accused him of turning me against her. Security removed her and a police report was filed. We decided to move. Isaac's employer approved a transfer to another state, and my job allows remote work. We're not sharing our new location with my family, even Ava, to avoid leaks. Emily's detailed photo album of Oliver's life, as if she were raising him, haunts me. The scam showed how far she'd go. Oliver deserves a life free of this threat. We're moving this weekend with professional movers, leaving no trace. Some may think we're overreacting, but Emily's escalating behavior and my family's enabling make this necessary. We traded the family I thought I had for the peace we need. Update 3: Oliver is 15 months old, walking and thriving in our new city, where we've lived for 8 months. Isaac loves his new job, and I'm excelling remotely. Oliver attends daycare 3 days a week, and we've built a new life with friends unaware of our past. The constant fear has faded, though I was jumpy at first. 2 months ago, Ava shared that Emily was hospitalized for a nervous breakdown, spending 3 weeks in a psychiatric facility. Victor, in counseling, admitted he'd enabled Emily's delusion, believing we'd eventually surrender Oliver. Emily's fantasy helped her avoid her grief's reality. After her release, they moved to live with her sister, seeking a fresh start. My mother, meanwhile, has lost family support for enabling Emily. Ava revealed she'd explored grandparents' rights to challenge our custody, believing it would convince us to let Emily raise Oliver. This confirmed our decision to move. Ava asked if I'd share contact details for my mother to reconnect. I declined. Her legal plotting was unforgivable. Isaac and I agree we're not ready to reconnect with my family. Oliver is a happy toddler, unaware of the drama. We plan to grow our family soon, keeping it private from my original family. Our new life, with supportive friends and Isaac's parents as loving grandparents, is fulfilling. Oliver isn't a tool to fix anyone's grief. He's our son. The protective order remains, and we keep records for safety. We didn't want to flee our family, but peace required it. Oliver will grow up knowing he's loved for who he is, and that's what matters most. For others facing boundary-violating family, trust your instincts. Protecting your child's safety comes first, even if it means cutting ties. We're building new traditions and memories, stronger than ever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a comment, hit subscribe, follow for more, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next one.